Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland, rainy Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. Oh, we got a lot done today on the zip line. You got to come try it. It's pretty cool. Have you tried it yet, brother? You didn't? Yeah, okay, well, amen. Okay, come join us at Dinosaur Adventureland. It's August the 13th, 2025. Tonight, we're going to take on another whack an atheist, okay? Evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. There's never been a dumber idea. We're on a bunch of different channels. You can go look, find them all on drdino.com. Oh, I forgot to move the dot there. Okay, man, we're way up here. Creation Boot Camp coming in a couple weeks. Come on down, visit us. Dinosaur Adventureland. It's free. What do you want? We'll feed you and house you. It's called 855 Big Dino Extension 4. If you want to tell others about your creation ministry, we're going to vet you a little bit first. There's some weirdos out there, Joseph. Did you know that?
One or two.
One or two? Okay. Extension 5, if you want to schedule a cabin, you can come join our 777 Club. See, I like what you guys are doing. I'm going to support you. Okay? Just call the office if you want to help with that, or just start donating $1 a day if you can to help us out. drdino.com. Let's see. Crabby, almost done. We got rained out. We got to paint it. Getting close there, folks. Should be another week and a half, I think. We're going to be done. You can come visit Crabby. And we're going to have all kinds of displays in there about the amazing horseshoe crab. If you think the horseshoe crab evolved, you are insane. Certifiably loony. You need a long sleeve jacket that ties in the back and puts you in a rubber room. If you believe nobody designed the horseshoe crab, just study it. Okay, I did. Somebody did a show. 10 reasons why I'm an atheist. Huh. So I thought I'm going to pick on this guy a little bit tonight. Stephen Harrison from Australia. I didn't have to convert. I didn't have to tell anyone. I was free. It was free. No money exchanged hands and no guilt. I just said to myself, I'm an atheist. Welcome aboard. Steve Harrison. Huh. Recent debate here in Australia and U.S. and around the Western world has been focused on immigration and religious intolerance. The minor kerfuffle, could be an Australian word, about no religion being given pole position on the upcoming census has been heightened debate. In other words, they want, when you get boxer, you got to check which religion. They had one for no religion. He thinks that's great. He can check the box. He has no religion. Yes, you do. If you believe in evolution, you have the dumbest religion of all. Okay? Debate, of course, is a good thing. So I thought of 10 reasons I'm an atheist. I'll tell you what, Jonathan. Call 855 Big Dino Extension 4. I'll debate you. You think debate's a good thing? I'd love to have you on my show. Come on, bring it on. Give not the reasons why you're an atheist, but why you believe in evolution. Why scientists believe in evolution. Scientists have accumulated so much evidence in the theory of evolution that it is one of the most widely accepted theories in science. Well, the fact that a lot of people accept it, a lot of people believe it, doesn't make it true, okay? The Nazis have eliminated so many inferiors and dissenters that now Nazism has become the most widely accepted political theory in all of Germany. Yeah, they eliminate the competition. Creation in public schools. In the United States, public school teachers cannot legally teach creationism as a scientific theory, but they can teach evolutionism. And by the way, the ism goes on evolution. It's a religious belief. Nobody's ever seen a cow produce a non-cow. You can believe that if you wish, but that's not science. Let me get this closer. That better, Joseph? I don't want to mess up your audio there. Okay. A teacher cannot present creationism as valid science in a public school class, and they should not be allowed to teach evolution as valid science. It's not. They had a big rally. This is not a science book, pointing to the Bible. Okay. I think when it speaks on science, it's scientifically accurate. These huge sections of these books are not science either. Get them out of the textbooks. I've got a huge collection of textbooks. I just took these pictures today of part of my library. Huge sections of these books are not science. They're about the religion of evolutionism. That's all they are. This tree of life is not science. This should not be in any public school textbook. Humans related to what is that, a carrot or broccoli or something, cauliflower, I don't know what it is. This is a propaganda poster. It's not science. This is not science. This stupid geologic column does not exist anywhere except the textbook. It's not science. It's not science. You want science? You want science books to be just science? Well, then get evolution out. I'm in favor of science. And if you don't think creationism should be taught, great. Take evolution out too, and I'll be happy. Okay? This is not specifically a science book, but when it deals with science or history or morality or any subject, it's 100% right. Let's see. In biology, a species is the basic unit of classification, a taxonomic rank of an organism, as well as a unit of biodiversity. A species is defined as the largest group of organisms in which any two individuals of the appropriate sexes, I bet they got to take that out now, don't they, Joseph? Yeah, okay. If you think there's more than two genders, tell you what, I'll pay you $20 to come milk our bull. I want to videotape you flying over the fence and put it on America's Funniest Home Video, okay? Okay. Mating types that can produce fertile offspring, typically by sexual reproduction. That sounds like what God said would happen. God said they would bring forth after their kind, after their kind, after their kind, after their kind, after their kind. It's, after their sort, 20 times in the first 7 chapters. No, the Bible is not designed to be a science book, but when it deals with science, it's accurate. That, bringing forth after their kind, is all that has ever been seen in the history of the world. You have to imagine, here we go, just imagine if we give it billions of years, maybe it was different in the past. Well, maybe, but it's not science until you can show it, observe it, test it, demonstrate it. Bring forth after their kind. John Freshwater, 8th grade science teacher in Ohio, was fired from his job because he had a Bible on his desk and displayed religious items. You can't do that. But it's okay to have a picture of Charlie Darwin or a poster of evolution. It's okay, isn't it? Yeah. Fired Christian teacher said, I teach all aspects of evolution. The Ohio School Board, let's see, college instructor refused to teach evolution as fact is dismissed. I know you evolutionists say, well, yeah, because it is a fact. No, it's not. It's a religious belief. You think it's a fact? Call for a debate. You coward. Come on, I'll take you all on same time. Joseph, would you monitor if there's 10 of them against me, just one topic at a time, and shut off their mic when it's my turn to talk, shut off my mic when it's their turn to talk. Equal time. Fair enough? They won't do it, okay. Popular college biology instructor is in danger of losing his job. He refused to teach evolution as fact. Losing his job because he refused to teach evolution as fact to his science class at Oregon Community College. The higher education establishment has eliminated so many teaching jobs from dissenters that now evolution has become the most widely accepted theory of all in American schools. That's why it's widely accepted, because you guys, like Hitler, eliminate the opposition, okay? So this guy said, I didn't have to convert, didn't have to tell anyone. It was free, no money. He said, number 2, once I recognized I was an atheist, I didn't have to do anything. No church, no praying, no rules. Ah, that's Jonathan. That's why, isn't it? I did this, Joseph, today. I thought about it. I don't believe there's a Lamborghini company in Italy. I decided I don't believe it. I found this collection of natural materials beside a store, and I took it home with me. Some fool told me he believed it was intelligently designed in Italy. I've been to Italy, and I never saw the people making these things, okay? It's simply an amazing collection of natural materials like aluminum, iron, silicone, etc., that formed by chance over millions of years. Only fools believe in some intelligent designer that you can't see. That's your dumb evolution religion, guys. A single cell in your body is way more complex than any Lamborghini ever built. He said there's no need to differentiate between or give weight to confusing levels of belief. Jonathan, you need to wake up, son. You have different levels of belief. There are 6 levels to the stage to evolution, belief, okay? Cosmic, chemical, stellar, organic, macro, and micro. Microevolution is a lousy term. We shouldn't call it that, but you do, so I'm going to discuss it tonight. Changes within the same kind of animal happen all the time. Big cows, little cows, brown cows, black cows, white cows. So that's no problem. But you have levels of belief. You believe the first 5. Nobody's ever seen a Big Bang produce anything but a big mess. Go talk to the folks over in Iran. I think they're getting some of that right now, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. You have a sense of equality and unity. Jonathan, if you think evolution gives a sense of equality and unity, you should read your prophet's book, The Origin of Species. Here we go. The Origin of Species. By means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. See, your prophet teaches one race is favored above the rest of them. See, let's suppose an amoeba wants to evolve into a whale. So first this little amoeba starts to evolve a couple buds that are going to become legs, and he can move around faster. Oh, he's more favored. So the rest of them that don't have the little buds, they got to be eliminated so this new partially legged amoeba can take over the population. It's a whole series of eliminating the inferiors for billions of years. That's what your religion is about. Evolution is the foundation of racism. Listen, I have never met a white man or a black man. Never have. I don't think they, well, is that? CGI, or is that real? I don't know. I've seen some dark-skinned and light-skinned people, but I've never seen a white man, neither have you, okay? Darwin's book, Origin of Species, 1859. Oh, the theory came out way before that. They may be classified as different species by modern science, but they're the same kind. Probably all these types of monkeys can interbreed. So, that's what God said they can bring forth. This book, Heath Biology up here on my shelf, says Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. Well, they give more of the title. There's the whole title. The Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. Favored races. Jonathan, you do not believe all people are equal, okay? Darwin thought natives were advanced animals. Here we put out the fires of racism and don't see their fundamental cause. It's the evolution theory. We born all the 26 million people, babies killed by abortion, but we don't see the cause of it. Evolution. It's stupid embryology teaching. It's not true. We see the servicemen come home from wars fighting against ideologies, a lot of them fueled by evolution theology. It's a theology, by the way, evolution, and not a science. Darwin said in his book, Descent of Man, chapter 3, at some future period, not very distant measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly eliminate and replace the savage races. Well, Jonathan, what does he mean by that? Maybe the Australian Aborigines where you live that they slaughtered by the thousands because they were inferior? Huh? Darwin and racism. The whole book on that topic. Darwin said, and here in this book, from the war of nature and famine and death, the most exalted object we're capable of conceiving, the production of higher animals, directly follows. Who's a higher animal? Charlie? Oh, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Yeah, okay. Negroes for sale, 1859, just 100 some years ago. Slaves. Let's see. Henry Fairfield Osborn, American Museum of Natural History, said, the standard of intelligence of the average adult Negro is similar to the 11-year-old youth of the species Homo sapien. Oh, they're different species, are they, Henry? Yeah. Biological arguments for racism might have been common before 1850, but they increased by orders of magnitude following the acceptance of evolutionary theory. I'm sorry, Stephen, you don't accept evolution, you believe in evolution. Don't let them get by with using that word, accept evolution. You have to believe in it. No rational man, Thomas Huxley said, and he's the guy who really pushed Darwin when he came out. No rational man believes the average Negro is the equal, still less the superior of the white man. The black people of Australia, Jonathan, pay attention. Jonathan, pay attention. This is where you live, okay? The same race as the African Negro cannot take in the gospel. All attempts to bring them to a knowledge of the true God have as yet utterly failed. Poor brutes in human shape, they're just human shape, they're not human. They must perish off the face of the earth like brute beasts. Charles Kingsley was the Anglican priest who promoted Darwin. Kingsley in 1860 wrote a letter to his wife when he went to Ireland and saw the potato famine, where 1 million people died out of 8 million in the country. He said, I'm haunted by the human chimpanzees I saw along the hundreds of miles of horrible country. To see white chimpanzees is dreadful. If they were black, one would not feel it so much. This is an Anglican priest, okay? The Mormon church, based on racism. Negroes in this life are denied the priesthood. They are not equal with other races. It's the Lord's doing. The lack of spiritual value. I cover Mormonism and why I'm not that stupid religion in one of my shows. It was a year and a half ago. Okay. Let's see. The Mormon doctrine. They're crazy. Okay. Let's see. The Secret History, the great books of Mormonism, if you want to study more on that dumb religion. HMS Brooke was allowed to carry 454 passengers, slaves, if you pack them just right like sardines. On this one, they carried 609. 20% died on each trip across the ocean, bringing slaves to America. Loose pack to minimize profits. Negroes were bought and sold in this country. They thought the Aborigines in Australia were not as evolved as the white man. They said the Aborigines have a bigger jaw. Jonathan, go study the history of your country. It's your religion of evolution that is responsible for the slaughter of the Aborigines in your country. Leaders thought the Aborigines were not as evolved. They have bigger jaws. Okay, let's see. The mental life of savages rises little above that of higher animals. 1904, which they are genealogically connected. These lower races, like the Vedas or Australian Negroes, are psychologically nearer to mammals, apes or dogs, than to civilized Europeans. We must therefore assign a totally different value to their lives. Jonathan, I thought you said your new religion of atheism made you feel like you're equal to everybody. You better check it out, Jonathan. Check what happened to the Aborigines in your country, okay? Australian Aborigines. At the beginning of the white settlement, there were 300,000 Aborigines all over Australia. They were viewed by the settlers as primitive, savage, and unchanging. In addition to warfare, water, flour, and sugar were poisoned, and diseases were introduced to wipe out the population. Stephen, you understand it was your religion of evolution that was the basis for murdering the Aborigines in your country? Aboriginal destruction was reasoned to be natural law, as shown by this comment from a settler in 1849. Nothing can stay the dying away of the Aboriginal race, which Providence has only allowed to hold the land until replaced by a finer race. Upwards of 20,000 to 25,000 Aborigines were killed prior to 1930. There's a reference. You can Google all my stuff here. Okay. Of the 250 languages present before 1788, now only about 20 or 30 are still spoken in Tasmania. Martial law was declared to solve the black problem, and every single native inhabitant was slaughtered in Tasmania because of the evolution religion, Jonathan. Racism in Australia. There's a good article in Creation Ex Nihilo years ago. New South Wales missionary was the horrified witness to the slaughter by mounted police of a group of dozens of Aboriginal men, women, and children. 45 heads were boiled down, and the best 10 skulls packed off for overseas. Overseas, who got them? The Smithsonian collected skulls of humans, many taken shortly after the person was killed because of evolution, and arranged them in series to show how we evolved from an ape. Yeah. The eugenics movement in America, until World War II broke out, Sir Francis Galton was Darwin's cousin. He said, in the study of the agencies under social control that improve or impair the racial qualities of future generations. Racial quality. Edward Conklin, biology teacher at Princeton. Every consideration should lead those who believe in the superiority of the white race to strive to preserve its purity and to establish and maintain the segregation of the races. For the longer this is maintained, the greater the preponderance of the white race will be. Really? New York Times became a champion of the eugenics movement, wipe out the inferior races, okay? They had a wonderful new science, eugenics. Yep, the eugenics tree of human evolution. Let's see, Franklin College. Carnegie Institute, founded by Harrington. Let's see. Now, unnatural selection. In time, these ideas gave rise to American laws that empowered doctors to sterilize people they judged to be unfit. They come in to get their tooth examined, they put them to sleep, and they sterilize them. 60,000 people were sterilized in the United States over the course of the 20th century. Most chilling were the ways in which American eugenicists influenced their German counterparts. Hitler said, I have studied with great interest the laws of several American states concerning the prevention of reproduction by people whose progeny would, in all probability, be of no value or be injurious to the racial stock. Wow. 1904 World's Fair held in St. Louis. They had a display of primitive people to demonstrate the superiority of the white man who had evolved further. Oda Benga was put in a cage because he was a pygmy from Africa, and he was supposed to display the inferior species. He finally committed suicide, if I recall. It's been a long time since I studied Oda Benga, okay? Madison Grant, prominent American lawyer, became a staunch supporter of this stupid eugenics movement. He was the founder of the Galton Society and a member of the International Committee of Eugenics. In 1916, he wrote his famous book, The Passing of the Great Race. I didn't have time to find it. I got it in my library here somewhere. Grant classified humans into distinct racial groups, which he then ranked in terms of evolutionary development. It's not just coincidence that Theodore Roosevelt was president during a few of those influential years. Roosevelt and Grant were close friends and big game hunting partners. Roosevelt hated Native Americans and openly stated his belief that they were not human, only animals. He said, I don't go so far as to say the only good Indians are dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I wouldn't like to inquire too closely into the 10th. Let's see. That statement, he said, I wish very much the wrong people could be prevented from breeding. This was made by Theodore Roosevelt. He was a strong believer in evolution. That's what he was taught, okay? So, Jonathan, you teach that, oh, we're all equal. You don't believe that. Do you think if evolution works, one animal evolves a little better than the rest have to die? Or else it gets blended back in? Yeah. 1871, Congress scrapped all the treaties with the Indians. Sorry, we're reneging on all of our treaties. All of you moved to Oklahoma, Indian territory, called the Trail of Tears. Do some study on that. 1838, they were forced to move their homes and their city. Ross's Landing was renamed Chattanooga, Tennessee. Here in America, I remember as a kid, some of this was still around, 1950s, when I was born 53. But as a kid, you'd see sometimes they still had signs up. Colored bathrooms, colored drinking fountains. The KKK, eliminate the inferior species. I don't think you can understand what happened in your country, Jonathan, till you understand it's your religion that you have chosen to believe that is causing this. God said we have one Father. There's no such thing as different races. One race called the human race, okay? God hath made of one blood all nations of men. We're all the same. That is a science book right there, Jonathan. Now, when it deals with anything scientific, it's correct. And it says we're all of one blood. Your book doesn't teach that. Your book teaches there are superior races. Jonathan, get a new religion, okay? Darwin thought women were inferior. He said a married man is a poor slave, worse than a Negro. He talked about the higher eminence of man. Man is better than women, okay? Whether it be deep thought or reason or imagination. The average of mental power in man must be above that of a woman. Descent of Man, Charles Darwin. The book's here someplace, okay? Man has ultimately become superior to woman. Poetry, strength, voice, etc. Darwin believed in inbreeding. He married his father's granddaughter, who was also his mother's niece, to produce a superior stock. They had 10 children. Mary died shortly after birth. Anne died age 10. Robert, born retarded, died at 19. Henrietta had a serious breakdown at 15. 3 of his other 6 sons were ill so often, Charlie regarded them as semi-invalids. So much for your superior race, Charlie, huh? Let's see. Evolution is the foundation of Nazism, humanism, communism. This religion is stupid. It's dangerous. It's based on lies. It removes all morality. It's the foundation for humanism, racism, and Nazism. You're not going to understand World War II and Germany and what happened, and I've read prolifically on this. I love studying that stuff, okay? It was motivated by evolution. Same thing with the Italian dictator. He thought the Italians were the superior race, okay? Mussolini, fascist dictator in Italy, sent 100,000 soldiers to attack Ethiopia without declaring war. Why? Haile Selassie had 500,000 men, many of whom were recruits trained with primitive weapons like spears and bows. With tanks and airplanes, the Italians easily and mercilessly slaughtered the Ethiopians with their tanks and bullets. Mussolini and Hitler became good friends. Hitler believed the Germans were the superior race. You said this gives you, your new religion of atheism gives you a sense of equality and unity? Jonathan, look what you said. People are all the same, regardless of belief, color, nationality, or any other superficial differences. Jonathan, you better study your religion you've chosen, because that's not true. The German Führer thought the theory tried to make the practice of Germany conform to the theory of evolution. If Hitler believed in anything at all, it was the laws of evolution, which justified and sanctified his actions and especially his cruelties. If it were possible to form a state of an army of homosexuals, these men would direct all their emulations toward honors, and going into battle with such a spirit would, even if their numbers were small, conquer the world. Not 10% of the men in 1933 took the fate of Germany into their hands were sexually normal. Because of that, when they knew God, they glorified not as God, but became vain in their imaginations and changed the glory of God into an image. God gave them up to the lust of their own heart. Okay, you can read Romans chapter 1 on your own. He gave them up. He gave them up. He gave them over. Okay? Lust, men with men burning with lust toward each other. This is what God said would happen when God gives up on them. It remains characteristic of the Germans that they outwardly, the most brutal, masculine of all European people, are the most homosexual nation on earth. Is tomorrow Hitler's, okay. A direct line runs from Darwin through the father of the eugenics movement, his cousin, Francis Galton, to the extermination camps of Nazi Europe. Oh, there. Hitler said, Our enemies are little worms. Close your hearts to pity. Act brutally. The stronger man is right. Grant really motivated Hitler. Hitler loved Grant's book, okay? Grant classified humans into racial groups, which he then ranked in terms of their evolutionary development. He believed the harsh conditions in the northern latitudes caused humans in those areas to evolve better brains. He could identify them by the blonde hair or red hair and blue eyes. Did you see that, Jonathan? Blonde hair, blue eyes, the superior race. Did you know that? Norwegian, no less. Ja, woorden står det till idag. Oof, det där fella. These were the superior races because they had harsher conditions to get under. After reading Grant's book, Hitler wrote him and said, "This book is my Bible." Hitler's book, Mein Kampf, is full of his racist philosophy. His mind was captivated by evolutionary thinking since he was a boy. Evolutionary ideas lie at the basis of all that is worst in Mein Kampf. Here we go. While 6 million died, a great book here. No more than nature desires the mating of stronger with weaker individuals, even less does she desire the blending of a higher with a lower race. Who's these higher races, Adolf? You wrote it in your book here. Mingling of Aryan blood? Is that what I got? Aryan blood. Wow, okay. Here's the list Hitler was using. The Norwegians, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, are close to pure Aryan, superior race. Right, Adolf? Okay. For his life, because of what he'd done, he joined the Catholic Church and became a priest. 1946, right after the war. 1958, he was ordained as Poland's youngest bishop. After just 33 days, Pope John Paul was assassinated, and he became Pope John Paul II. Used to kill the Jews, sell the stuff to kill the Jews. Okay, I don't think you can understand history, especially the last couple hundred years, until you see how evolution fits in. It's a dumb religion. It's a dangerous religion, okay? And by the way, it's my teaching on this that I cover in video number 5 that caused them to come arrest me and put me in prison. 1936, German Supreme Court declared Jews are not persons. Just like our Supreme Court declared the unborn is not a person. It's okay to kill it before it's born. Yeah. The U.S. Supreme Court declared the word person does not apply to the unborn. This is stupid, okay? Hitler could kill the Jews because they're not people. They're just slaughtering animals. I've been over there, preached in Germany, went to the concentration camps. There's one of the ovens they would use to bake them. Collecting the shoes, piled up all the dead bodies. A rally in Nuremberg. He wanted to make the individual feel small. Yeah. Time magazine voted Hitler's Man of the Year in 1938. If you subscribe to that, you ought to buy dog food for somebody instead, okay? Hitler understood the importance of indoctrinating the youth of Germany with the Nazi philosophy. That's why you guys understand you better get the schools and the teachers and get rid of teachers who believe in creation. Right. Nazism is alive and well in the USA. Still going. We cover all this in video 5, okay? Let's see. Hitler said, "I regard Christianity as the most fatal, seductive lie that ever existed." He hid behind the cross. They had a picture of him walking out of a church with a cross over his head. He was anti-Christian. That was a propaganda picture. See? There's the picture right there, okay? Propaganda picture used to make Nazis believe Hitler was a God-fearing Christian. He was not. That's the Nazi altar right there. Hitler's Cross, a good book by Marvin Lutzer, he was president of Moody Bible Institute. Hitler said, if you tell a lie long enough and loud enough, people will believe it. He said they're more likely to be a big lie than a small one. You won't understand what happened in Rwanda until you understand the evolution of religion and how it did that. Throughout most of Rwanda's history, 2 major tribal groups existed, the Hutus and the Tutsis. They got along fine. The distinction between the two was primarily economic. One had more money. The Tutsis were wealthier, usually those that possessed 10 head of cattle or more. Okay. Tension between these two groups is nothing new. The animosity between them grew substantially after colonization by the Germans and the Belgians. The Germans and the Belgians started teaching them, hey, you're superior. You should kill him and steal all his cows. Yeah. When the Belgian colonists arrived, 1916, they saw the two groups as distinct, but in different ways. They had different passports. The classification was not only on wealth, but also their physical characteristics. The taller, light-skinned Rwandese were considered Tutsi. Those that were shorter and dark-skinned were the Hutu. The Belgians considered the Tutsis superior to the Hutus, since they possessed traits that were considered more advanced by evolutionary standards. Not surprisingly, the Tutsis welcomed this idea. For the next 20 years, enjoyed better jobs and educational opportunities. You mean they would fire people based on their race or their religion? Yeah, like you guys get rid of Christian teachers. That judge that put me in prison for 10 years had two teachers in Pace, Florida, arrested for praying over their lunch. Yeah, watch my show I did on February 1st on my channels, Open Letter to Donald Trump. I give all the details right there. Resentment among Hutus gradually built up, culminating in a series of riots in 1959. More than 20,000 Tutsis were killed, and many more fled to neighboring countries. When Belgium relinquished power and granted Rwanda independence, the Hutus took their place. The Tutsis were portrayed as scapegoats for every crisis. Triggered by the death of a Rwandan president, whatever that name is, Hutu militia unleashed their hatred of the Tutsis. Beginning on April 6, 1994, for the next 100 days, 800,000 Tutsis were killed by Hutu militia using clubs and machetes. I don't think you understand, Jonathan, that your religion you have chosen is dangerous. It's not just dumb, it's dangerous. We teach people there are superior species. And you said you're excited to be an atheist now because everybody's the same. You don't believe that for 1 second. One survivor told the Hutus would stop you, look at your fingers and your nose and ears to see if you were Tutsi. In July, the rebels were able to capture Rwanda's capital and put an end to the slaughter. Read Hotel, or get the video or the book, Hotel Rwanda. The Japanese thought they had evolved further. It was because of evolution they did what they did. Japanese scientists produced studies and said, oh, these apish features. They said these other nations are hairy. That proves they're still ape. Yeah. Well, you're in trouble, aren't you, brother? Yeah, okay. They said the Japanese have a milder body odor. Therefore, they've evolved further. The Bataan Death March. Japanese treated American and British prisoners horribly because they thought they were an inferior species. 1942. Yep, it was. You're not going to understand, Jonathan. You've chosen a dangerous, dumb.
TikTok saying you can't say the TikTok saying you can't say the you have to say mustache man. You can't say his name. That's why they clipped it.
You can't. You got to say mustache man. You can't say Hitler.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Did they clip it?
Well, they muted you.
Who did?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, everybody lost audio for a couple of seconds. They muted you out.
I think he's quite a historical figure, isn't he? Are you serious? Hey, sign up for all our channels, folks, okay? They're going to eventually take us off of one because they believe dumb things like that, okay?
When that glitch happened, there was some comment that also said that you don't want to talk flat Earth because you know you'll get destroyed.
I don't want to talk flat Earth because I'll get destroyed.
That's what, yeah.
I don't want to talk flat Earth because I don't want to talk about pink elephants in somebody's backyard either. It's not true, okay? Kansas is flat, the rest of it's round. I don't have time. It's a dumb theory, okay? You believe what you want, and you will, I'm sure, okay? But it's dumb, real dumb.
Would you consider some of those in the Church of Christ to be in a cult?
Yes, Church of Christ believes you have to be baptized to be saved, and you got to be baptized by one of their preachers. They got a line of preachers going all the way back to Peter in their mind. Baptism is not part of salvation. Can't be. The thief on the cross couldn't get baptized. He's kind of busy at the time. And God's not willing that any should perish. There is one verse that says repent and be baptized. If baptism was part of salvation, it should be in every verse where salvation is talked about. Is it talked about in John 3? You have to be born again. Is it talked about in Romans 3 or 6 or 9 or 10? No. Dozens of verses talk about salvation that do not mention baptism. Baptism it's great. You ought to get baptized. I did after I got saved, got baptized. It's a public symbol like putting on a wedding ring. It is not part of salvation. Yes, Church of Christ is a cult in my humble, totally unbiased, and completely correct opinion. Okay?
Do you think there are still dinosaurs in the Congo?
I do believe there's still dinosaurs in the Congo. Been many expeditions over there. There's a swamp over there bigger than Alabama that is 80% unexplored, and they won't let you go in there because you call for help and got to spend $1 million to go rescue you. Plus, they're killing Christians like crazy over there right now. So, yes, read the book by Roy Mackal, A Living Dinosaur. We've got a whole section in our museum dedicated to dinosaurs still alive, and many of them in the Congo swamp. They're not as big as they used to be. They're 15 or 20 feet long. Okay, people aren't living to be 900 either, but they're still a dinosaur, still alive. Yes. That's it. You have to say Mustache Man.
That's what they're saying.
Adolf Mustache. Brother, I grew a mustache once in college.
Oh, yeah? You didn't like it?
No. Finally, the president of the college said, look, no more mustaches on the men. He said, I don't understand why you guys want to cultivate something under your nose that grows wild under your arm. That was his take on it.
Fair enough.
I shaved it off. I don't care. Doesn't matter. All right, see you tomorrow. Hey, call in tomorrow night or the next night. Here's your chance. Call in. Call Jonathan over there in Australia and say, look, Hovind whacked you. Defend yourself. Bring it on. Come on. I want to see that. Evolution's stupid. Real stupid. If you want to come join come visit our ministry, come. 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I'll answer the phone. Or 4 for Joseph. 5 if you want to schedule a cabin to stay in. If you want to come help us build the Noah's Ark, please. We got all the tools, hammer, everything. Just right and left-handed hammers. Come on. We'll help you. Need some help. Thank you. See you. Bye.